À toutes et à tous. Ok. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Est-ce qu'on m'entend? Vous m'entendez? Oui, d'accord. J'avais un petit problème avec le micro. Donc, bonjour à toutes et à tous. J'ai plaisir de vous accueillir pour cette 6e séance de ce cycle de conférences débat consacré au décryptage des vagues de solidarité au 19e, 20e siècle. Irène Herman et moi-même, avec l'aide de Noémie Lakatos, Hussein Delidogan et Audrey Corino, nous avons monté cette série pour tenter explorer, cerner ces quelques moments qui sont des points de cristallisation que nous appelons les vagues de solidarité. Aujourd'hui, nous avons plaisir d'accueillir Anita Budziszewska et étant donné que la conférence va avoir lieu en anglais, je me permettrai de passer à l'anglais. Donc, on va tenir la séance d'aujourd'hui en anglais. Donc, hello everyone. I'm pleased to introduce Anita Budziszewska. Anita Budziszewska has a PhD in social science. She's member of the Faculty of Political Science and International Studies at the University of Warsaw and postdoctoral researcher at the University of Geneva at Geneva Center for Philanthropy within Swiss Government Excellence Scholarships Program. She conducted two research projects concerning philanthropy and international relations and philanthropy and culture. Today, Anita Budziszewska will be talking about the new concept of solidarity in the 20th century and the role of the modern technology and social media in this process. Thank you, Anita, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Dr. Renata Latawa. Before I will start my presentation, I will just share in the moment my presentation. I would like to say a great thank you to Dr. Renata Latawa, to Professor Irene Herman, and to Naomi Lakatos for organizing this short intervention, I could say, and whole project. I'm very pleased to be part of it. I was participating in all meetings you held within this project and within series of this lecture, so I'm familiarized with the idea. So it's really my pleasure to be the part and to be one of the speakers among your invited guests. I will share my screen with the presentation. Okay, before I will start a presentation, when I was asked to prepare some short intervention regarding the new modern idea of concept of solidarity, I was trying at the very first to combine it somehow with my own research regarding the philanthropy in civil society engagement. Actually, this short intervention, as well as the whole idea of solidarity movement, it's very in line with what I'm doing now. We just finished the project in Geneva University regarding the role of artificial intelligence and technology in civil society development and engagement. So I'm very happy that I could share at least at some point here some few remarks regarding my perspective. As Dr. Renata Latawa mentioned, I'm going to talk about the new concept of solidarity, but bearing in mind the technological shift we are just facing. We cannot avoid the international dimension of the technology that we all are facing now. So this shift affected all areas of our lives, including the solidarity. As I mentioned at the beginning, at the very beginning, I know very well the presentation that were held already within this project and within this initiative. So I can imagine that the evolution of the concept of solidarity is very visible. My perspective is a bit different. So I'm going to talk about the new changed topic of the new concept of the solidarity. In terms of my short intervention, I divided it into a few parts. So I'm going to talk about the new characteristics of the new concept of solidarity. So why we can say that we have and that we are facing new concept of the solidarity in general. Then I'm going to refer to some case studies. It was mainly based on the available research projects and available research and survey published already. As well as at the end of my intervention, I'm going to refer very briefly to the projects I'm referring regarding the connection between new concept of solidarity, technology, social media, and philanthropy. It just to show you that these both concepts are very interconnected within each other. First of all, I would like to recommend you, for those who like to delve more deeper into the topic, on some publication that I found very useful in terms of preparing my short presentation. It's just some of them. I will refer to some of the publications that you see on the screen, but also to my projects to show you the more general perspective. Why we are talking about the pivotal point and 2000 year as a kind of striking point in terms of recognizing and understanding solidarity. First of all, if you see on this table on this screen, you will see that we can see the very visible shift regarding the new social media's development. So if you see, the very first step toward using social media was started in 1997, which was kind of the very starting point of developing this kind of tools. From 2001, 2002, and so on, we see striking development of many various social medias. So we can say that more or less from 2000, social media developed with unexpected and very rapid dynamic. One of the most important, of course, and I should say the most well-known social medias, of course, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. But if you compare, and if you look closer to those topics and to those social medias, you will see that actually they are not just connecting people, but they have maybe even broader influence on many concepts and many areas of our lives. The very first and the most important and most striking influence regarding the social media and the concept of solidarity. Well, if you go to all the publications, all the research we have now, we'll see that all the professors, all the academics, they agree on one thing. The solidarity moved from physical level to cyber virtual space, which means that the key argument regarding the new concept of the solidarity is the fact that the majority of the activities are happening in the cyber, in the virtual space, which means that at the very core level, we cannot compare the new concept of the solidarity and the way the solidarity is happening with the classic concept. This is the very general perspective and the argument. The other one is that we cannot avoid technological shift. So despite we are fan or we are enemies of these tools or of the way how the solidarity works now, we cannot avoid the fact that technology is still developing and will be affecting also the way the people see, understand, and do and they are solidarized with another one. Concept. I don't want to be very boring and to show you a development of the concepts regarding the many perspectives from many researchers, but I want to mention one concept developed by Manuel Castells. For those who are trying to observe and follow the idea of the solidarity, probably you heard about the new concept and new way how solidarity is understood by the concept of Manuel Castells. So actually, he used the fact that the solidarity moved from physical to the very virtual space, and he called the new concept of the solidarity the new social movements, as the solidarity is the basic argument, the basic driving force for social movements. And he called the specific notion, he called it like new social movement, networked social movements, which means that people are showing their solidarity in virtual space by networking towards each other. And the first picture I showed you regarding the development of new social media and the dynamic of development of new social medias showed you already that starting from more or less 2000, all the new tools, new social media, they developed in very unprecedented scale, but also all of them, they're interconnected to each other, which means that if you put your idea, your photo, your value, and so on into one specific social tool, probably all of them will be somehow connected, which means that the solidarity happening in virtual space in many multimodal way. Very often when you see and when you read about the new social concept, a new social solidarity concept, I should say, Manuel Castells appeared as one of the most important researchers regarding this idea. But I also prepared for you some very I should say similar understanding of a new solidarity concept by other scholars. One of them is Olivia Ochwat. She's a Polish researcher, but she wrote excellent article. She did her research in Poland regarding this case study of social movement in Poland. In terms of social media like Facebook and so on. And based on her observations, she indicated the most important characteristics of the new concept of the solidarity. So the new way and the new indicators how we can understand the new solidarity movements. So one of the most important change in comparison to the classic theory is the fact that, as I mentioned, they have some kind of networking characteristics, which means that if you put some information in the virtual space happening in very fast, rapid way, the information is well connected with others. So it's a kind of one of the most striking characteristics is, of course, the rapidness of one information and connection to many people in very short time. The other one is, of course, the global and local level, the development of the solidarity movement in very local and very global level in the same time, which means that if you compare the new concept and the new way of solidarity that are happening now with the classic solidarity movements, you see that very often, I should say almost always, all the movements happening very fast and on the global level. So since virtual space does not have any borders, it means that the new solidarity concept and the direction is very global at the very beginning, from local to global, I should say, in a very rapid way. But it's not just those indicators. One of the most very striking characteristic of this new solidarity concept and social solidarity movements is the fact that usually they last very short, which means that people are solidarizing with each other mostly because they share the same values, they share the same perspective, they want to show their support for others. But the new social concept, the new social idea of the solidarity is based on the fact that usually they are very short-timed, which means they are happening very fast, but afterwards the atmosphere of solidarity and the feelings of solidarity is decreasing also in very rapid way. Afterwards, I will show the case study, so you will see how it looks like in the very practical way. Okay, this is the characteristics based by the survey done by Olga Ochwat 2 years ago. Yes, technology, social media, and artificial intelligence. If you compare the new version of Solidarity with the classic one, you will see that one of the most important area what is happening, the new Solidarity, is technology, social media, and including artificial intelligence. But there is very striking difference regarding the using of technology nowadays and the social media. Technology is not universal, I should say, product, which means that the social media have more important role in solidarizing people with one another, because usually they are available in every place of our globe. But what is also striking about the new concept of the solidarity and the new tools that are helping to develop this new concept of solidarity is the fact that the new solidarity movements and the feelings use social media as a kind of starting point for grassroots movements. Okay, so usually in terms of the topic of these movements, they support, also they are happy to support and to include the voices of those who are marginalized. So usually we share the same feelings and we share the compassion for those probably who are not very lucky in their lives. It means that they are not, for example, they are struggling with some problems regarding health and so on and so on. Yes, fantastic research regarding the so-called new concept of the networking solidarity, as Manuel Castells was trying to show it, but also from 2-3 years, we are talking in public discourse and in scientific discourse about the so-called concept of Twitter or Facebook revolutions, which means that the role of both tools like Twitter and Facebook, most significantly, they are most popular among users. They are causing social movements, but on very visible global and regional effects, to the point that they are able to influence the politics and the social condition on global level. I don't, as I know, I have just 20 minutes, so I didn't include here just the political examples. It's not also the line of my presentation, but you see down below on the screen the reference to Agnieszka Szuta. She wrote an article regarding the how social media serve as a ground for new social movements. But what she did is very interesting because she showed on the very practical examples on the global level how informations included on the Twitter and Facebook influenced the social solidarity all around the globe, causing also some change on the very high political levels. So in very short time, even in 2-3 days, people were able to connect through these networks and share the same sense of solidarity, and, for example, organize protests, which of course 20 or 50 years ago it wouldn't be possible. Okay, it wouldn't be possible. She also agreed with the concept of Manuel Castells and the previous researcher, but she added something very important, what in my perspective is also crucial to understand, that the new concept of solidarity has also, might have some kind of weakness too. For example, according to her, the new solidarity, the new characteristic of solidarity has got some part that are not super, I should say, beneficial for the idea of the solidarity. Why? She proved that although the new movements and the new solidarity concept are very are happening on the very global level, and they are very strong, and they are developing in a very rapid way. In the same time, there is no long-term effects on it. If you understand me well, so for example, we have very urgent social solidarity movement. It lasts, for example, 1 month, 2 months, and then suddenly it disappeared, which means there is no structure to this specific solidarity movement. For example, to continue this logic, years ago, if you bear in mind the solidarity movement, for example, in 80s, 70s, usually they were resulting in organizing some kind of structured organization, and the movement could develop and could be very well anchored within the social life. Now it's not the case. It's very rare situation when the movements, the sudden social solidarity action is based on it's happening, and as a result of it, we have organization. Usually there is no strong leadership because everything is happening in the space. So people are very happy to support this idea, but afterward there is nothing happening. In the moment, I will show you the example of the one of the most important and widely described in the literature, the case study of the visible hand. The social solidarity movement happening in, I should say Poland, but in Europe actually, because we had at that time the international sections, and how it worked and why there is nothing happening afterwards. Okay, but this is just in the 1 minute. Also, in the discussion, in the public discussion, in the scientific discussion, they sometimes appeared voices saying that this new solidarity concept and solidarity movements very far from what we understood by saying being solidarized with somebody else. It means that activation of the social movement and social actions by internet, it's not the positive way of how solidarity is supposed to look like. Usually they mean the fact that the human dimension and the face-to-face meeting and the interaction of people who it's sometimes more important. And when we are using the virtual space, it's not possible, of course, because the people usually are very anonymous, and then they don't know each other. So the social bond, it's not so strong as it was, for example, many years ago. Yes, I want to just show you the case studies of the two social movements. Actually, one of them was based in Poland. I used the Polish example because I'm very aware of what's happening, but this is just example. You can refer it very briefly to other examples happening in Europe in the same time. But this is very striking because it showed how fast the new solidarity movement happened, and how fast it at the end it was closed down. So in 2020, during the pandemic, the new wave of solidarity happened due to pandemic and due to COVID-19. One of the most striking example of the social solidarity with others, with people who are suffering from COVID, they don't have families and they need support and so on, was the initiative called Visible Hand that was created in 2020. And then, but this organization, this initiative was based on the initiative developed in 1950 in Poland, so 70 years before, but in the very different circumstances. And if you compare both movements, both act of solidarity, you will see the striking difference, despite the idea was the same. So now we are talking about the two actions two solidarity movements happened in Poland. The first one in 50s, 60s, called Invisible Hand. And then based on this idea, in 2020, the youth of the Polish youth, they created a new new solidarity movement based on the concept from the 1950. But of course, the effect was totally different. But you can understand what is the new concept of the solidarity about when you see the details. For example, we have 2020, the very first month of COVID-19. On the Facebook, one group was created regarding the call for all people they're using internet and Facebook to organize some help for those who need help and they're suffering some diseases regarding the COVID and need help. By using Facebook, using virtual tools, the solidarity movement and the compassion for those who needed help caused that in 2 weeks on the Facebook, so on this particular social media, within 2 weeks, 200 groups were created to the point that within a month, the solidarity, those solidarity action gathered more than 100,000 users that they are signed up for Facebook to show their solidarity to others. So in 1 month, we have 100,000 users and people who created the solidarity group called Visible Hand. But if you compare this rapid scale in terms of solidarity movement with the first action that took place in 1915, you will see that this is striking difference. The Invisible Hand, the very first solidarity movement that appeared in 1957 as the very first time, gathered during more than 13 years, 2 million people. But despite the number is much bigger, we need to bear in mind that we were talking about the more than 10 years. Here, nowadays, when the social media available, you can gather 100,000 users in 1 month. So you'll see that this rapid and this new social media tools created very strong and very rapid connection of many people who are sharing the same idea. There is a book I have no time to talk about. I see that I'm running out of time, so I will just close in the 5 minutes of my presentation. But a fantastic book regarding comparison of both solidarity movement was published by Budziszewski Maciej a couple of years ago. So the book is available. So for those who like to go and compare what are the differences between both, well, the same solidarity movement, but in totally different time, you will see the difference. Yes, so I'm trying to be objective as much as possible. So I see the opportunities. I'm sorry, to when I'm talking about this new concept of the solidarity, but also the challenges. I do hope you will join me in the discussion. But just to give you an example, so is the very beneficial, I should say, characteristics of this new social solidarity movement is, of course, the matter of rapidness. Okay, so everything's happening very fast. The scale. So we're talking about the solidarity movements which are global, not local, as I mentioned. So they are developing very fast and on a global level. The number of crowds, crowdfunding, and the initiatives regarding the solidarity movement is very high. So the number of users and number of people who are declaring this solidarity is very large. But also through social media and through this technological shift, we are using the visual aspect. But this could be understood in very positive way. So by using visuals, pictures, we can influence other emotions, and it's very visible when you are using the social media. But also it might be positive. Okay, it might be negative and positive regarding of your intention. But what are the challenges of the new concept of the solidarity? Of course, fake news. So you can create solidarity movement by showing the information that are not very true. Okay, so we can easily use the people, because you in virtual space nothing is, you cannot very often confirm anything. One of the most other striking challenges is the non-social competences. So living in cyber virtual space means that we don't have contact with each other. So the solidarity understood in classical way brought people together. Now in virtual space, it's not so strong, and the social competences are not so well developed. And of course, the very one of the most striking challenge is the fact that there is a generational gap, which means that usually when talking about the new solidarity concept and the new way of doing solidarity, usually they are based on the people born and not so long time ago, which means that usually they are creating the groups and showing the solidarity, but within the new generation. Okay, so due to obvious reasons, the older generations cannot, and maybe they don't find even so useful as the young people. Okay, I see I'm out of time, so just to mention also my research. When I was trying to understand the evolution of the concept of the solidarity, I found fantastic work regarding the role of French Revolution in understanding the solidarity concept. So before, just to mention that, I know I don't have time, but just to mention that before the French Revolution, charity organization, philanthropy was not connected with the solidarity. So before the French Revolution, solidarity was the concept saying that we're supposed to share our support for equals. So philanthropy and charity actions were seen as a kind of help for those who are less unfortunate, but who are maybe not as on our level. But what happened after the revolution is very important, because philanthropy and charity and the solidarity became very interconnected, which means that by showing philanthropy, we are showing the solidarity. This is also for me fascinating, because this is the concept I'm talking and I'm researching. So I found it very also very inspiring in terms of my research. Just two more examples. When I was doing the Swiss survey regarding the behavior of Polish people living in Switzerland, I asked the question how you used the social media and the technological tools in order to show your solidarity, your charitable action, and so on and so on. Majority of the voters said that they don't use the social tools and the technological tools because they prefer very face-to-face interaction. Okay. Other interesting survey I want to show you. This is the screen you see from the report published in 2020 by one of the European organizations, showing, asking people why you started to showing your solidarity with others, why you're starting to help others. And if you see the very fourth place, which is very high regarding the number of the voters, they starting to show the solidarity signs because they saw posts on the Facebook or other social media, which means this survey showed that actually just by using social media, we can cause many direct actions, because even if people are not very familiarized with the actions, if they see the information on the Facebook or other social media, they immediately starting to showing their solidarity with the concept. So it's very striking example and very very remarkable. So we can see that the shift is very visible, and it's happening on very multidimensional levels. Okay, I don't want to, I think I will stop here because we have 10 minutes. I'm very happy to hear your opinions. I see probably many people from very different generations. So I'm very happy also to hear your opinion and maybe some interactions, maybe comments. I'm very open to that. What I want to say is that the number even of publications regarding this new concept of solidarity is developing in very rapid way, which means that this fact and this problem is really up to date and supposed to have more and more survey on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anita, very much for your fascinating presentation. I think it's the moment for the discussion, and to begin, I would like to ask about the possible scenario of the future evolution of the idea of solidarity, as we know that technology cannot be avoided anymore.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Latawa. Yes, actually, your point was pointed out as one of the most striking problems in the conference in November, December at United Nations, when during one of the conference, the vice director of the UNCTAD told us that one of the striking problem for the future and the future generations is the fact that actually the using of social tools and technological tools are very unequal, which means that the differences appearing in many regions of the world. And well, the scenario is very simple. What we supposed to do, and what also the director said, is that the fact that we need to make sure that the technology is ethical. So that technology is ethical, and that its access to it is very equal, because this will affect the social solidarity movements on global scales. Okay, if you can imagine the regional development of social medias and technological tools and inequality regarding those aspects, it means that when you're trying to create very international solidarity movement, usually the users or the people from very well-developed countries, they are more happy to be engaged because they have simply more tools and availability to do so. So it was indicated as one of the most striking problems for the future. In terms of scenario, if you go to the countries' policies regarding how we're supposed to show our solidarity and our affection to others and our compassion to others, one of the striking fact is the new policy concept regarding trying to bring many generations on one table, which according to the survey is one of the problems nowadays. Because if you use the tools, very, very modern tools, as I mentioned before, you can expect that actually the young generation will be more active on it. And this fact affected the policy of many countries. And what they are trying to do, they are trying to establish new framework, how to connect many generations together. So how to bring people from many generations, with many age into one table. So it's visible on very global level. I was supposed to mention at the beginning, my perspective on the social solidarity is also based from the theory of international relations, which means that to understand these processes, we need to see global, more broader concept, more broader picture of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Someone have any questions?
Maybe comments. There might be comments.
Maybe for the presentation we can finish. Yeah. Thank you.
Who say this?
Hussein? Yes.
So do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for your presentation. It was really, really interesting. And in fact, I have maybe one question and one comment, or like wanted to like ask you your opinion. But for my first question, it's related to when you were talking about the fact that how to say, the technological era has moved social movements into a virtual space. But it seems to me that uh, even though that is the case, I think the real space, the real space still remains very important for demands and for, let's say, an effective pressure of governments. And so I think that even though solidarity, let's say, has found new ways of dissemination, and so that's thanks to the internet and social media, etc., I think its effectiveness still seems to rely on a physical pressure, let's say, because we have so many protests and occupations, like we all saw them during these months in Europe, and not only in Europe. Even here in Geneva, we had some protests and students that occupied the school. But yeah, and yeah, that's that. Let's say the first comment, and I just want to know your opinion about that. And the other comment, maybe, I really liked the point you made on fake news and solidarity. I think there is effectively a risk to create solidarity movements for, let's say, the wrong reasons because the fake news. But I also think that social media present a risk for solidarity movements because I think that social media risks to exacerbate opposing sides and the opposing camps, and so virtual spaces can also, let's say, um, used to exacerbate division more than fraternity and solidarity. So I think that's also a risk of social media. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Hussein, for your very insightful and very actually on-point comments. I will start from the first one. I totally agree with you. We cannot say that solidarity just moved to virtual space and nothing happening on the physical level. But if you compare the new social movements with the classic one, you will see that very often social media and technology, virtual space more generally serve as a starting point for it. So let's imagine this. So you can organize protest in 1 hour. Actually, if you put your information on the Facebook, on the social media, you can organize the protest, the movement, the solidarity action very fast. But they are happening. Then they are happening on the very physical level, which of course might be good tool, might be bad tool, but. There is a fantastic example in the literature, also very broadly described, regarding the role of social media in Arab Spring, and also in all the events regarding in Colombia in 2008, for example. Just by using social Facebook and this, I think it was just Facebook accounts, the protest, the scale of the protest extended to thousands of people that came on the street because they saw the call for protest, call for solidarity on the Facebook. So this shows how it works. So I agree with you. Thank you for that. I'm observing also these social movements all around Europe. But I think these both dimensions, so the physical one and the virtual one, can complement each other. And that's why the social movements are very strong. But yes, it could go many ways. But what is most striking is the fact that actually they can that they affect the rapidness and the scale of this protest. Okay, what we see, and usually remember, we need to all remember that if you're using the visual, the picture, some specific words, you can really affect others' emotions. There are more. If you see the picture, there are some surveys saying that if you see picture, you have 70% more chance that people will react on it. So you can just use it also regarding your second comment regarding the fake news. It's also one of the, I believe, and I consider it as one of the most important challenge, because you can create social movements, solidarity, compassion, and so on, solidary actions just by don't saying the truth, to be very, very blind. So I agree with you totally. That's why the virtual space, sometimes it's the wrong tool for the right solidarity, compassion, and so on and so on. So I agree with this very to all my heart. So thank you for your very insightful and very smart comment in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I cannot hear you.
Someone have any questions?
Maybe any comments?
Or comments?
Yes, questions that maybe the other perspective. I'm very happy to hear that. Actually, when I was trying to prepare the presentation, I think I've read like thousands of the articles, trying to grasp some main idea and the main way of thinking that we have now. But it's very multidimensional problem. So I'm very happy also to hear maybe different opinion. I'm very happy to do so. And I need to say, when I was invited to have this short intervention, I was asked to say about these new social tools and the new technology and so on, because also I was doing the chapter with the book regarding the new technology and social movements. I told myself, oh, it's going to be very easy because I'm like I'm the young generation. I thought I'm very young generation, but when I saw the rapidness on the new social media, I realized that actually the shift is happening. The dynamic of the shift is happening so fast that even I cannot say that I'm very aligned of that. So yes. Any questions?
Yeah, maybe I have a second question. Is the more global perspective on the solidarity movements. Are there any difference in using technological tool, its potential effect on solidarity movement in various parts of the world?
Yes. Thank you for the question, Dr. Natratava. Yes, actually, again, it was mentioned by the conference regarding the technology and United Nations. And one of the key problem was the fact that, first of all, we need to bear in mind that we are talking from the perspective of people living in the particular region. And the cultural differences happening in many different regions all around the globe is very striking, which means that every region, maybe even country, people from particular country will be showing their solidarity in a very different way. Okay, and sometimes because they don't have enough access to technology and so on and social tools, they cannot be so active as societies living in, let's say, the other part of the globe. It was also dedicated as one of the most striking problem for that. There is fantastic survey, a fantastic article and presentation done by Ravi Dotan. She wrote. I believe she finished her in Stanford. Finished her at Stanford University. She prepared a survey regarding how cultural differences actually can affect the social interactions, speaking very generally. So when we're talking about the role of social media technology, we need to bear in mind that we are just talking from one perspective of living in this particular region, but the cultural difference might be so striking that we're supposed to create or look at these solidarity movements from the perspective of many other regions, bearing in mind the cultural differences. Okay, so people showing and feeling the solidarity with others from many different factors. It might be the economy, but might be also some kind of values we don't understand now in one region. Okay, so it's a matter of values and the way we are showing the solidarity and its cultural differences, speaking very generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you, Anita. Any comments? Any questions? Hussein? Yeah.
Yeah, I have maybe a little comment if
Yeah,
if I
please.
may.
Yes, please.
And I was just thinking about the question of the new, also of the new recruitment opportunities given by technology and by social media for the solidarity movements. Like you can contact very rapidly people in a virtual space. You can, like, there is a better diffusion of your information and your thinking. And so there are, I think, also better chances of recruitment and more support. And there are also, I think, new means of survival for the solidarity movements, because nowadays you can, set up a fundraising online, or you can ask for money online. And it's easier than ever. And so I think there is like a kind of striking contrast between the fact that we live in an era where we have so many tools to form social movements, solidarity movements, and to make them last for a long time with fundraisings, etc. But at the same time, as you said before in your presentation, in general, they last for a short period of time, and that is kind of
Yes.
a striking contrast, I think. And I ask myself, but why is that the case? Why do they last so well? Why do they last for a short period of time? Uh, is it because they are desensitized of, I know it's an hypothesis, maybe they are desensitized, maybe people are, desensitized of all the images and videos, it's all constant, rapid. We see a ton of negative news, images, videos, etc. And maybe people are like, well, they just turn their eyes and turn the head and, say, well, it's whatever, and they become pessimistic. I don't know. What's your thought on this?
Thank you so much. This is very also in point comment. Actually, majority of the scholars, they're trying to answer the questions. One of the new characteristic of the new concept of solidarity, the fact they last relatively short, as mentioned, as also I mentioned during my presentation. But this is also due to the fact that, remember that if the solidarity actions, they're happening in virtual space, people don't know each other, so they don't have any bond. They are very enthusiastic. They have, usually, of course, I'm generalizing, but they are very enthusiastic about the movement, about the idea. But bear in mind that there are plenty ideas in the same time happening. So they have plenty of actions happening. So they are not feel so attached maybe to one action, or not too enough attached to continue this. Well, I showed you the case study of visual hand happening, that group organized in Poland. It was actually extended to the European level. But so during the first month, you have 100,000 users. But now I've checked the number yesterday just to see the shift. It's just 200 people, 2,000 people. So you see how it just decreased. Maybe it was the matter of the situation that we have. I mean, we have crisis finished, and then nobody is doing the same work. But if you compare the same activity happened within the case of Invisible Hand, happened in 1950 and 60 in Poland, it lasts 10 years. And there were 2 million people. So you see, like it lasts 10 years, not half, not 6 months. So this is the fact. And what you said is also very important, and I agree with you, is the fact, I also mentioned briefly, is that we have many, in virtual space, we have many actions, many solidarity movements, many solidarity calls. So because we have so many of them, maybe, as I mentioned, maybe we are not feel obligated to support in long term all of them, if you know what I mean, okay? Because in 2 days another one will appear, if you know what I mean. So I cannot really imagine, because I know Dr. Natratała and Professor Irene Herman, so on, they're doing the project regarding solidarity movement that happened in Poland. I also visited the website of the Solidarność. It was 2 days ago when I was preparing the presentation and I was reading publications. You know, they, on the website of the Solidarność, they wrote that because time changed, because technology happened, even our movement, our Solidarność need to change, and we need to adapt to new dimension. So it means that it's happening on many levels, even Solidarność. But I'm not sure what would be the effect of the Solidarność movement in 80s if we had this kind of tools. Maybe it would be even more striking in terms of scale. One also of the indicators mentioned by scholars researching this topic in terms of the question, Hussein, is the fact that there is no strong leadership anymore. So we have many users, there's an action, but there is no charismatic users, charismatic leadership. I'm not sure if you agree, if not agree, but this is the argument very often published in the literature regarding this topic. So there is no strong charismatic leadership. We have some news, but that's all. And the other one is, as I mentioned also, is the fact that there is no organization, no structure. So we have movement, but there is no structure, no organization which is doing the work. So maybe it might be the two indicators that I could consider it as a kind of two arguments explaining why the solidarity actions happening now, they are not long term, but it's very visible that this is the case. It's not always the case, of course, but bearing in mind all the research and probably our observations, it's very visible also for me. But I like your point. It's very just on the line. Thank you so much for the comments.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Thank you, Anita. Thank you again for this analysis. It was fascinating, and I think we must finish. And thank you all for your presence. And I already invite you to meet us on June 7 to listen to Kirill Postutenko's lecture about a conceptual dimension of the solidarity. Donc, thank you, and I wish you all a good weekend, and see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.